as the sheriff, I need the community to understand what type of negative impacts all of these budget cuts will have on public safety. And that's really our message, is we believe that these budget cuts go too far. I believe it places public safety in jeopardy, and it certainly has a negative effect on the community when we're trying to deal with issues like gang violence, methamphetamine, and just answering calls for service. We've been directed to cut another $6.5 million out of our budget for fiscal year 11-12, and that starts July 1st, 2011. So while we've already cut significant amounts of money out of our budget, earlier this year, you may recall, we laid off 54 people and cut $8 million out of our budget. Now we're doing this again in the next fiscal year. And it's important to know that public safety is very important. And everybody should know that government's number one priority, their primary obligation, is to protect its citizens. And when you take that kind of money out of a budget and you lay that many people off, so I'll be looking at more than 100 by the time we're done, and close to 50 deputy sheriffs, it's very concerning for me because it affects our ability to adequately protect the community. One of the things we may have to consider is the elimination of our gang suppression team. Imagine not being able to respond to gang-related crimes in the community, which I think the public would be very concerned about. Imagine not being able to respond to rural crimes. I'm sure the agricultural community is concerned about that. I understand as the sheriff that everybody's been affected by this economy. Public safety, education, business, agriculture. There are many, many families in our community who are suffering. And I understand that. And we've done our part. We've reduced our expenses and we've cut our budget, and people have lost their jobs. But at some point you have to say, you're going too far. You've gone beyond our ability to adequately protect the community, and we're going to end up being a reactive department instead of a proactive department. And I'm concerned about the possibility of increase in crime. I'm concerned about increases in gang violence because of our sting team working very hard. Now we've seen decreases in gang-related crime. We don't want to go the other direction. The reduction of the number of deputy sheriffs on the street, a reduction in staffing in that area, will mean that you'll see increases in response times. You'll see calls that perhaps we don't respond to at all. So for example, a vehicle burglary where your stereo may have been taken and there's no suspects, witnesses, or evidence, we're going to redirect you to our online reporting system. You may not get a deputy sheriff. But my primary concern with reducing the number of deputy sheriffs on the street is their safety. These are men and women who run towards gunfire, not away from gunfire. And officer safety is my primary concern. If there's not enough of them, then you run the risk of having an officer hurt or killed in the line of duty because there's not enough resources to adequately protect the community. Remember, the population is the same. The challenges we face in public safety and crime in the community hasn't changed, but you're eliminating our ability to adequately respond to that, and that's my concern. If there are priority one crimes in progress, or for example, the armed robbery that took place several weeks ago in Modesto, where we helped the Modesto Police Department with a lockdown and of a perimeter and identifying and trying to locate suspects, that will still occur. But it means that while we're doing that, other calls for service will wait before we can get there, and perhaps wait several hours before we're able to respond. So the community needs to know that we are committed to doing the very best we have with the resources we do have left after these cuts. It's still very important to understand that I'm concerned as the sheriff about our ability to adequately protect the community and falling short in the areas of crime reduction or crime rates and those types of areas. We want to ensure that we live in a safe community, and cutting this kind of money out of public safety jeopardizes our living in a safe community. The realistic approach to all of this, or the reality, I should say, to our current economic climate is that there is simply a finite amount of money. Unprecedented declines in revenue. We know the county's general fund has been hit very hard. And so when it comes to prioritizing what's important, that's where you really have to start looking at what other services you can eliminate. So in defense of the Board of Supervisors, they have some tough decisions to make too. And while they've always been supportive of public safety, now more than ever, they may have to put a higher priority on public safety than other services in the county that may be eliminated or further reduced.